I created this podcast so people could get to know various companies. Education is key in this area. I want to meet leaders of different companies so me and my audience can figure out who's a lifestyle director and who runs a successful business. Disclaimer: the information provided is for educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. It is important to do your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any investment decisions. Welcome to Oz Stock Chat. The purpose of this podcast is to equip people with the tools to navigate the complex world of stocks and real estate through education. Always education, never financial advice.
So joining me today is Dr. James Fielding, the founder and CEO of Audeara. Thanks for joining me today.
You're very welcome, Chris. Looking forward to it.
The Audeara story is pretty special. What inspired the creation of Audeara?
I actually came across my co-founder when we had just finished medical school, and he was working in the ENT department of a local hospital near Brisbane, and it was very difficult for people to get hearing tests. And Audeara was born originally as a way for people to do a simple self-directed hearing test so they can understand about their hearing and then go and see a professional. We then realized that people don't know what a hearing test means or what to do with it, and that even if they do, they're still not taking action. So we went one step further and tried to find a way to take action about their hearing loss, and that was improving the entertainment experience by changing the way music sounds using your individual hearing profile. And the company completely shifted gears, and it became about giving people the best possible experience so that you can help them with problems now. And by encouraging younger people or people who don't have hearing loss to care about their hearing health, we can prevent hearing loss into the future. And that's how it came about, simply trying to solve a problem of people either not knowing about their hearing or being able to access the testing that they needed. And we set about finding a solution.
Wow, so it's all about really early intervention as a strategy as well.
It is. So it's part solve the problem. If you've already got hearing loss, we can tailor and tweak and give you the best possible experience. But we're putting hearing health on the radar for generations of people that are more health conscious than ever, and hearing simply isn't part of the narrative, but it really starts to impact when something goes wrong. It's National Tinnitus Awareness Week at the moment, and we're hearing all of these stories about people who've been out in live music venues, loud events, on the tools without appropriate hearing protection. All of a sudden, the first thing they notice is this ringing in their ears, and that's really the ringing bell of some impending hearing loss as well. So there's a much more awareness about it now, and we're proud to be part of that.
That's awesome because, it's like at sports stadiums, it's super loud. So I can imagine people that go to these really loud games and things like that are impacted over a long period of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And it tends to creep up on people without them noticing. And then all of a sudden you think everyone around you is mumbling. Or the TV, the ads are just loud. Why do we need to have captions on all the time? And the last step is people saying, maybe my hearing's not quite where it should be. And so we found a bit of a gateway drug between doing nothing and buying hearing aids to say, hey, this is a problem for you. We can make entertainment and communication sound much better, be much more enjoyable, and hopefully puts people on the right track.
Right. So tell me about your products that I can see in the background. Is that one of your products?
Yes, this was the second generation, this bad boy, because originally they were over-ear noise cancelling Bluetooth headphones that do everything an incredible headphone should. And then we put the secret sauce inside, which is letting you do a hearing check, see the result, and then change the sound that comes out of the headphone based on your hearing profile. And the people that get the biggest bang for their buck are people who know they have a loss. Maybe you've already used an aid of some kind, maybe using them daily, even people up to having cochlear implants. can be using our headphones to enhance their entertainment experience. And the best place to find people who know they have a hearing loss are in audiology clinics, which is where people are going to often have their first experience of having a hearing test and think about their hearing. So we have started putting our headphones into audiology clinics, and that started 3 or 4 years ago in Australia. And since then, we've got every clinic in the country, and we're now in 10 countries worldwide, which we're incredibly proud of. And we've partnered with these audiology clinics to provide additional solutions other than hearing aids. And we think it creates a much more well-rounded experience for people. And having that credibility in the audiology space has led to us now being seen as a technology company, which we are, to put our hearing health tech into third-party brands. And these earbuds I'm speaking to you on now, we've developed alongside a company called Clinico, who are the largest audiology provider in Taiwan. And their CEO actually came in as a strategic investor of ours about 12 months ago and said, I love what you guys are doing. I can't find anything else in the market I want in my clinics. Can you help me build something specifically for my network and my community? And we said, absolutely. And so we've got a few shots on goal now where we've taken a core idea and now we're deploying it under our own brand and under the power of really well-known and trusted brands as well. And that's what's going to start coming out in the next few months. So we'll go from being that headphone company to being that hearing tech company with a wide portfolio of products. So it really stepped things up over the last 12 months.
That is fantastic. And I love how you absolutely live and breathe those products. And obviously as a founder, you can see the passion coming across in what you're telling me, which is just beautiful. What have the responses been from users? Do you have any exciting success stories that you could share?
Well, we're at, I think it's 30,000 headphones out the door at the moment. But one of my favorite ones was a mate of mine who was a Wallaby. His name's Mitch Chapman. He's a really great guy. And when we first started out, we're doing the Kickstarter campaign and saying, hey, we can personalize your sound, improve your music, all this kind of stuff. But it was the people who knew that they had significant problems that are always the most impactful. And he'd had a tumor as a kid. He'd had part of his ear cut out. And so he was saying, hey, you know, my ears are pretty shot. I don't suppose your stuff would work for me. I said, well, absolutely it would. We don't care what your hearing's like. We'll compensate and get you the best outcome. And, you know, he's 6'5" and a healthy young buck, and he's sitting there thinking he's bulletproof, and all of a sudden he was really overwhelmed, and he's saying it's the first time I've heard vocals in his ear in 30 years. And it's just these little moments where people have kind of given up. And that was in 2017, and since then it just gets bigger and bigger. And we thought we were solving these big, sexy med tech problems, but ultimately we just stopped husbands and wives bickering about how loud the TV is, and sell a headphones, save a marriage, and it's real. And people write into us and you wouldn't believe how much happier we are. We can sit down, Frank can put on his headphones, that TV doesn't have to be on 150, we don't need captions on, everyone can just sit and have a peaceful end of their day. I thought, well, isn't that just lovely? And we hear those things all the time, and people write in, and especially if there's an issue, you know, maybe the charging port's wiggly or something's wrong with a headphone. That's when you really start to see these stories of people going, I need these back as fast as you can get them to me. And it might be a mother of a child on the spectrum who's using these headphones for isolation that they paid with their NDIS funding, and they use them for school so that Johnny can focus and pay attention. And, you know, he dropped them and snapped a bit of them or something. Because people go, I don't know what happened. I just twisted it. Right, you twisted it, snapped the steel frame of the headphone. It looks like it's been run over by a Mack truck. But you get these stories and they come back and they say, please get them back to us as fast as you can. And I'm such a sap. I send them out new ones and we sort of fix the broken ones in the background. But it's often when you see that there's been a break in somebody using them and then they have to sort of reach out. Because when you sell direct to the customer, you can see these things and they're your customer, but 95% of our business is selling to the clinics, and the clinics are the ones doing the day-to-day engagement. So we get those chances to break through in the rare occasion that there's something wrong with somebody's product, and the clinician's going, hey, ASAP, let's go. And say, yep, absolutely. And so it's been a journey running around and testing with people, and there's some people that we're working on some product for at the moment that I can't tell you about just yet, but a fairly big part of our 4C recently that we just got a deposit from this big music instrument company, and it's a company that I've loved most of my musical life. And we got the chance to pitch, would you like to incorporate this tech? And they said, oh yeah, that's a bit interesting. And the product is almost ready. And there are some big names that are associated with this brand that have tried and like what it is we've built. And once I start shouting from mountaintops, it's going to be pretty cool. But for now, it's all a little bit hush-hush because we have to maintain our corporate and commercial sensitivities. But we're pretty much bursting at the seams to start seeing people using the latest and greatest that we've got on offer.
Oh, I've got so many questions in my head about who the company is and trying to guess your age, figure out who it is. I'm only joking. But seriously, I think that's so exciting. And is that announcement, I guess you can't really give a timeline for the announcement, but it will be coming out soon, further down the track.
It's pending. I think what we've done is tastefully craft it as saying H2 of this financial year, that we'll be able to add a little more meat on the bone. But in the recent 4C, we talked about having received a cash deposit for the upcoming production. Went into a bit more detail about how the business model works. Because we have a revenue recognition piece where we don't recognize revenue until product ships. We're a hardware company, but we still need long lead time deposits, all those sorts of things that come in. But yes, it'll be our first product out in the wild. If it is ours,
that is
them. They're gonna watch it mass, and I do like mass consumer, the globally loved brand, just sort of has a nice ring to it.
That is so exciting, because that leads me nicely into what is your growth strategy for 2024 then?
Yeah, so finish the job in Australia, add Europe into the mix, and then let AUA Tech take care of the rest of the world is the strategy in a nutshell. So in Australia, it was step 1, get all the clinics. Step 2, start to make more money from those clinics. So we've knocked out step 1 and we're really working hard on step 2. So Australia will be kind of the bedrock of the 2024 plan. And then we just added France, Belgium and Spain into the mix. And France and Spain as accounts with the world's largest audiology retailer. France has 700 clinics, Spain has 800 clinics, and they're just about to get going. So we got those first introductory purchase orders just before Christmas or a few weeks ago in the case of Spain. And so what we'll see is they'll start to ramp up over the course of 2024. And those 2 accounts that we've done are essentially equivalent to the Australian market. So we've got 2 points of contact, one a lovely French guy and one a lovely Spanish lady, and their go or no go has a market potential equivalent to our bedrock in Australia. So obviously once that gets up and starts ripping, that's going to be super exciting. And then on the AUA Tech front, we've got the big music brand, which is coming the next few months, which is really exciting. And then we've got Clinico into Taiwan with these buds, which we'll hopefully be able to bring to the Australian market at the end of the calendar year as well. And so we're just taking more shots on goal. We're adding, call it built in the rainbow. I think the last time we talked and I had my deck up on screen, we've got Australia here, and there's a little bit of international, and there's a little bit of AUA Tech, and there's a little bit of direct to consumer. And the whole goal is take the big one at the bottom and make the top 3 just big, and we just blow it. And so that's slowly starting to fall into place. And I think as we look to 2024, we've started to become more comfortable having conversations that we know will take 12 to 18 months. You know, when you first start out, 12 to 18 minutes is too long. And then you're building up, and I'm having conversations in Europe in October, and I'm shaking hands with people, and I'm thinking, okay, you've said yes, that's really exciting. I'll expect that something will get going by this time next year. And it's a part of our business model that's really frustrating a lot of the time, but we have to respect that we're playing with the biggest players on the globe, and they don't quite move as fast as we do. And so the growth strategy is really aligning ourselves with the players who are the best in the world at what they do, and us being able to amplify back of that.
So to summarize then, 2024 is just growth is what I'm hearing, which is
relentlessly, always in all ways, as Ryan Serhan would have us believe. But yes, it's going to be pretty exciting.
That's beautiful. And what would you say to investors looking to consider the biotech sector?
I think we saw last year that if you were considered a micro cap or a health tech, also we're listed as consumer tech, and I just don't agree with that at all. We're definitely health tech. I mean, we sell authorized by government funding. Government funding covers 90% of our revenue stream. So I definitely see us being health tech to start, but there is an awful lot of opportunity out there that's been beat up pretty hard over the course of 2023. And when we get together and have our little micro cap commiseration parties, I look around and I see all of these incredible opportunities, and I've started taking some punts on them myself, because little bets in something like us, I think 4 cents or something embarrassing today, and I just think 4 to 12 is pretty straightforward. And we listed at 20 and we're 10 times better company than we were when we listed at 20, and we're at 4. And there are lots of stories like that of people who have just really taken a pounding. And so there's a lot of value in the sector. If you take a look and you're willing to spread some bets across, a bunch of people taking small bets across companies our size will drive the whole sector up and generate a lot of return.
Right. Thank you. I absolutely love that this is your baby, that you are growing and it is continuing to grow. It's pretty inspiring story, to be honest, which leads me into the next question. There are some pretty impressive skill set on the board generally. What do you think makes a good leadership team?
I think we need to understand what's going on in the business well enough that we can find the right people to do their part, and let us focus on creating the opportunities that then feed the whole machine. So there are some practical skill sets involved, but from a leadership point of view, people need the confidence that you know what you're doing, you know what you want, and that you're going to be providing enough resource to get the job done. That's how I've always seen it. I personally take a very North Star approach. This is what I want. It's out here. It may seem a long way away, but every step towards it is going to seem closer, and getting us to that North Star is really up to you. So this is your world. This is your area. It's time to deliver, and let's go. I'll keep creating opportunities, and we just need to keep knocking them out. It will be okay.
Love it. Strong leadership style. Great. And this is just a random off-topic question that I like to just throw in there. If you could be any fictional character as your mentor, who would it be?
Oh, I wish they didn't have to be fictional. All my favorite people were in real life.
Okay,
but
real life.
My favorite fictional character I quite like Uhtred of Bevenberg. I'm a real historical fiction nerd. Like, I love historical fiction books. Bernard Cornwell, Connigan, those kinds of writers who take real life stories and really bring them to life so you can sink your teeth into them. And you think about someone like Alexander the Great. I know it's a bit cliched, but people say, oh, I don't really know what I want to do with myself. And, oh man, I'm only 25. You say, by the time he was 25, he'd conquered the entire known world, built 2 cities, and then sailed off into the sunset. Like, age is all a state of mind. And so I think being around people like that with so much raw energy is always incredibly inspiring. My real life version is my hedge fund boss from back when I was in New York. And he thought that his latest triumph, after buying Planet Hollywood and a bunch of other fun things and giving me a job in a casino, his latest triumph was being sick of being yelled at for smoking in the office, because he was one of those guys that said, I own the building, I'll do what I like, thanks. And he moved to vaping, which his doctor told him was going to be safer for him. Thought, what a good idea. Got the only vape that was then FDA approved as a smoking cessation product in the US, and just sold it to Aldrad for $2.5 billion, I think. And that was over the same time that I built this headphone company. And he has that tornado energy, and you can learn a lot from it. I like to take pieces of that style. It's not really my style. I'm not going to make 50 phone calls a day and be sort of pound and never sleep and all that kind of stuff. I take a bit more of kind of a slower, gentler progression to things, but there's something about the unrelenting energy of people that I find quite inspiring.
And I'd agree with that. I love being in a room with someone that's got that never-ending energy, because I think it bounces off people and it can make you feel so good. So good.
Yeah, absolutely. There are some pretty powerful people that I've had the chance to spend some time with, and that's kind of the unifying feature of all of them, is whether it's loud energy or whether it's quiet energy, you can still feel it, and you still understand that they're not kidding and that they have done those amazing things. And I think the part that I've always enjoyed about that is that when you spend time with people, you realize that they are just people, and they've taken some different paths, they've made some different choices, but I've never found anyone you can sit down with and think, I can't do what you do. It's just, would I want to sacrifice what you sacrificed to have what you've got? And you have to make an active choice. But when you break down the barriers and create a mentor out of these high-reaching figures, and I think that the mentor relationship is demystifying it, right? Because they're willing to have coffee with you, tell you some of their secrets and tell you some of their failures and all that kind of stuff. When you humanize people, you realize that you really can do some pretty incredible things.
That is just amazing. I absolutely agree with that. And having a mentor, I think, is so inspiring, and I think just so important on anyone's journey. Not financial advice, by the way, just saying that mentorship, amazing, can't recommend enough. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. As many as you can get.
Yeah, definitely. But thank you. That conversation was really, really nice. And again, just pretty inspired by the story and the fact that it's your own and you live and breathe it. And I think that's always really important for investors to understand that you founded the company and you continue to have this ambition to see it do really well. So thank you.
Thank you, Krista. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you for listening. Remember to follow That Stock Chick on X at OzStockChick. Can't wait for the next episode. Don't forget to follow me wherever you get your podcast.